MMA Pros Picks is sponsored by the MadLabMMA.com. Full breakdowns, DFS, wagers, projections, podcasts, and live streams for every single card. Use the promo code MADLYNCH for 40% off your first month.
I say Cory Sandhagen. TJ didn't fight for long, and I know how does it feel when you didn't fight for 2 years. And Cory did an amazing performance against former champ Frankie Edgar.
Ooh, I got to go with Sandhagen. He's on a run right now. He's on a real nasty run. I think that Aljamain Sterling loss really lit some fire in him. And then for TJ to be coming off a 2-year layoff against a guy like that doesn't bode well for him.
I put my money on Sandhagen. Sayudo put him down relatively easy, man. Like, cracked him, rocked him pretty easily. I can see Sandhagen touching him up, but he's not a power puncher, but he's got those devastating, like, you know, now he's throwing these wheel kicks and he's throwing flying knees and shit like that. So I think it's a decision. I think it goes a 2-8 decision.
Man, that is so difficult. Because I do respect TJ Dillashaw, man. He was a savage, came up despite, you know, his the asterisk by his name and all of that. But then you have this Sandhagen who's just he's a stud too, man. He's here in the Denver area. I see him often training at Landau's and just around in the area. So I don't know, man. It's been a big layoff for TJ Dillashaw. Oh, gosh, that's really a toss-up, man. I'm torn. You know what? I'm going to go with Sandhagen, though. He has the momentum. He's been active. It's kind of like the Poirier-McGregor fight. You know, Poirier had been active. I'm going to go with Sandhagen.
Well, this is Dillashaw's first fight back, right? Like in a long time. Sandhagen, I'm going with Sandhagen on this one. Sandhagen. Yeah.
I think Cory Sandhagen's on a roll, you know. Dillashaw's always going to be a force to be reckoned with, but, you know, we'll see where his head is at mentally, coming off 2-year suspension and also not having, like, you know, EPO. Like, knowing you're not going to get tired, it's got to be a super, super big confidence booster, especially for a guy like Dillashaw who moves a lot and does a lot. So I don't think anybody knows except the people who train with him where his head's going to be at. So I'm going to go with Cory Sandhagen.
Man, I'm going to go with Sandhagen. You know, I don't know how this has really affected TJ Dillashaw, you know, and then, like, maybe when he comes back, who's to say how he's going to perform without the extra, you know, and maybe it'll be just in his head. Maybe it plays a mental toll on him that he doesn't have that stuff, you know. So, and plus, dude, Sandhagen is a beast, dude. Like, and I really enjoyed his podcast on Joe Rogan recently, talking about, you know, him talking to his sports psychologist and the whole mental warfare that goes on, because that is something recently I've dived into is getting a sports therapist, and it's really helped improve.
I think TJ is going to win, probably. He's going to be able to out-wrestle him. And it looks like he's he's really strong right now. Just he's put on a lot of size. So I think TJ is going to be a little stronger and probably grapple him a lot. So I see TJ probably winning a decision.
Man, I've been TJ's biggest fan, again, since I was a kid. I think I've seen all of his fights at least 100 times, man. But I'm a huge fan of Cory Sandhagen. Even prior to him being in the UFC and in his LFA days, I was a fan. I already knew who he was, and I knew he was going to make waves in the UFC when he got there. So I've broken down this fight a lot to, like, teammates, and I have a couple bets, but I got Cory Sandhagen winning almost easily, like putting on a pretty good performance, man. TJ has been out 2 years, and I think that the game's kind of evolved, and I'm sure he's been in the gym training, but those the calf kicks, the high knees, like the Kraus knees is what I call them. Like, Kraus throws that kind of high knee, no setup, no use of the hips, just kind of throws it straight up, and Cory's so good at that, man. And I feel like with the up down that TJ does is how he's successful in a lot of his fights, is like the up down sets up the high kicks for him, it sets up the hands, it sets up the stance switches, and you can't up down like that with Cory Sandhagen. Like, you're gonna catch a knee to the face. And I've trained with TJ in the past, super cool dude. You know, I was still an amateur when I trained with him, and he said some things to me that stuck with me like till now. Like I still think about the stuff he says. To me, it was after practice, so we kind of had like a little bro moment after practice, and he talked to me just about the fight game. So absolutely respect the guy. I think he's an incredible fighter, and he's someone I try to mimic very early on in my career. But Cory Sandhagen wins winning the fight.
With that original flow, head kicks with the pros, picks of the fights or anything in the mix. Getting closer to the heart of the flame, bringing conversations with heavy hitting names. You feel the love of the game.